Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a fantastic morning. Idolatry. I feel led today to talk about idolatry. The instance of this is my personal definition. I don't think this is the actual concrete definition, but I feel as though it synergizes fluently. The instance of essentially over glorifying something external, whether if it's an object, a prized possession, or a person. And the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to this term is when we were kids, I feel as though we all, at least once in our life, we were exposed to, I would say, a public figure, a celebrity, someone well known with tons of credibility. We were exposed to, I would say, a sports player, rapper, public figure, like I mentioned, whatever the case may be. And something about that person, something about their reputation just intrigued us to want to be like them. We wanted to tailor our lifestyle similar, congruent to them in particular. When we grew up, we wanted to be like Kobe Bryant. When we grew up, we wanted to be like Lil Baby or something like that, Babyface Ray or something like that. It doesn't matter who it is. It all depends on who you were exposed to and the instance of tailoring your life, tailoring your mood around said individual. And when it comes to external objects, cars. I can't even think of any other objects, but I feel as though you guys understand the context of which I am referring to. A couple months ago, right? I read a scripture from the book of Ezekiel. If I'm not mistaken, it was Ezekiel chapter 6, and it describes the notion of the Israelites idolizing external things over God. And essentially, right, when it comes to idolatry, you are glorifying something else instead of idolizing God. Your peace is essentially determined and defined by that said thing, when in reality, that is a space of which God is called for. You're essentially replacing God with that thing, with that external thing. And in reality, when it comes to achieving overall peace, when it comes to achieving the salvation that is called for you throughout your journey, nothing else in this world can ever replace God's impact. It doesn't matter how much you how prolific you think that said individual or object is. Nothing else is going to allow you to reach the ultimate transformation, for you to reach your ultimate destiny other than God. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize. Even me, I was susceptible to this. And the best example I could give you, I'm a huge sports fan. I am a sports fanatic. I've been watching the NBA for I started watching it in 2013, but I was essentially exposed to it during the 2010s decade. I was exposed to Kobe Bryant, and then I became a huge Oklahoma City Thunder fan when I was in middle school, back during the KD Westbrook days, like I said, 2013. And I remember when I was growing up, when I started to invest my time into watching the NBA more and more, following the Oklahoma City Thunder, my fandom has become so broad to the point where, like I mentioned before, the Thunder started determining my peace based on the result of a basketball game. Whether if they win, it feels as though I won in life. If they win a game, I felt extremely ethereal. I was the happiest, most lighthearted person that day. But man, do not even consider the fact of them losing. I'm gonna tell you anyway. If the Oklahoma City Thunder hypothetically lost, my mental health was compromised significantly. I could be having the best day imaginable. I could get a phenomenal grade in on a test, a 100%, and that can lighten up my spirits. As soon as the Oklahoma City Thunder lost, whatever positive that may transpire that day, immediately overridden by that loss. I was depressed. And this depression would last for an entire day or possibly a week. And if you guys watch basketball, you guys already know the amount of disappointment that I've experienced as an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. 2018, losing to a rookie Donovan Mitchell despite having a Hall of Fame roster. Westbrook, Melo, Paul George, them blowing a 3-1 lead against the 73-9 Warriors. The Oklahoma City Thunder, when they were expected to do something significant, when their fans expected them to do something significant during that season, they fell short. Heartbreaking. I still remember when they lost to a rookie in 2018. I was the most depressed person in the world. Obviously, that passed eventually, but that was arguably one of the worst weeks I've had in my life. I'm still an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. However, it's not as bad as it was back then, prior. I'm still working on it. I still, to this day, experience moments where it's like, if they win, I feel phenomenal. If they lose, I feel disappointed. And I feel as though there's definitely a silver lining when it comes to that. Like, I'm not saying, and I'm assuming if you guys are watching, there's some sports fans who may come across this video. If your team wins or lose, you can show emotion. I'm not saying you cannot show emotion at all, because at the end of the day, we must have something that we enjoy doing. We must enjoy our hobbies, right? And when it comes to idolatry, it's not insinuating the standpoint of you not having, or you being forbidden to attach your emotions to something. Like, have fun, have something that you invest into. If your favorite team wins, you could be extremely happy. If your favorite team loses, like I say, you could be disappointed, but it really shouldn't determine your life. It really shouldn't impact your life. If your team loses, you shouldn't be on the verge of wanting to commit suicide, basically, because that is essentially tying your peace, your mental fortitude, to something external that is not of God, if that makes sense. And when it comes to this context, I'm going to elaborate even further in the sports realm. If you guys aren't aware of how fandom is very brutal at various points. People are literally fighting physically harming each other, killing each other over sports, ladies and gentlemen. Literally verbally abusing others over sports. Twitter, especially, is extremely horrible when it comes to verbal abuse. This is something that I've noticed, because the only reason as to why I still have Twitter is to follow sports. Twitter is the best platform and the most efficient platform when it comes to the dissemination of statistical data attached to different players and teams and sports news. So that's why I still have Twitter. But it is impossible to have a professional, peaceful sports debate. Me personally, I love debating sports with people. It is fun, and it's something I enjoy doing, considering that I follow sports. I'm telling you right now, if you attempt to criticize another player on Twitter, or even social media for that matter, people are going to be out for your neck. If you attempt, even while not even having the intention to want to bash said player, it could just be something simple, like simple criticism. All of a sudden, your thread is going to be filled with racial remarks. Somebody's going to want your life. Somebody's going to want your head on a stick. People are going to want to kill you. You are going to be shamed. You're going to be shamed based on your looks, based on your morale, based on something of reality attached to your life. They're going to attack you because you criticized their favorite player. Your claim doesn't synergize with their narrative ingrained in them. And even if you're branching away from digital media, the digital space, there are tons of people. I remember I believe it was a couple years ago. I think it was a Buffalo Bills and Patriots game. There were two fans in the arena fighting, and one of the fans ended up passing away as a result of that fight, of that brawl. And it's all a game. People are taking each other's life over a game, and it's strictly related to fandom, basically. It's strictly related to fandom. And if you're willing to take somebody else's life over a sports team, that is the ultimate form of idolatry. Because, like I said, when it comes to you relying on your favorite team for peace, you are never ever going to allow something to intrude with that. You're never ever going to allow it. You're going to retaliate because you idolize that sports player, that favorite team, to the fullest degree, to the point where you're willing to take extreme measures to defend them, to the point where you are deliberately going to commit to these protocols to ensure your peace, to ensure to ensure that no slander will be inflicted on someone or something that you are idolizing. And that is not of God. That is the clear-cut sign that of idolatry, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to that, this is why it is condemned in the Bible, because it can lead to destruction. It could lead to slaying innocent lives over something that's not even really that serious. Someone may have stolen your prized possession, and obviously that's not ethical. Stealing is wrong, and you have every right to be extremely infuriated over someone stealing your prized possession. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't warrant you wanting to retaliate with violence. At the end of the day, if you have God centralized in your life, despite everything that you may value, nothing is ever going to determine your mental fortitude, ladies and gentlemen, because God is going to be centralized. God is going to give you the necessary clarity despite some hardship that you may experience with something you value. God is always going to be there for you. He is always going to comfort you, even if it may be uncomfortable at a given point in time. It's all going to make sense, and it's all for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. And your peace will remain imminent under the Holy Spirit. But idolatry is very dangerous. Idolatry can be extremely detrimental for you, and it should be avoided. And like I said, I'm going to regurgitate this. I said this previously because I want to really emphasize this thoroughly to make sure you guys understand. I am not saying to abstain completely from having your values. You can value things. You just cannot idolize it over God. God should be your main idol. The teachings of God, his functions, his actions should be idolized over any and everything. You can still have your favorite sports team. You can still have an object that you glorify, but it should not be glorified over God. Never ever. And if you comply with that, harmony in your life will persist. That's all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramble. I have a feeling there are many more things I could have mentioned, but I can't really. I'm just speaking from the heart right now. I'm speaking from the lens of, I can't even talk, but I'm assuming you guys understand what I mean. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I will see you guys the next time I feel led to record another video. Take care. God bless you.